Get ready to expand your mind because we are stepping into the timeless realm known as the Akashic Records. Ooh, little sound effect, nice, like that. Clear that space and open that way. This is like your cosmic unlock to all the storage of all the information of every thought, every feeling, every action, every experience you've ever had in this realm, any other realm, any timeline, past, present, future. It's all there.
It's like the cosmic internet.
It is. And you're like the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Like you can't see that you're plugged in and connected. But when you're open, direct line right into that information. So this is a very different experience for everybody. A lot of people, they've maybe heard of it, but they haven't consciously tried to tap into it. You've probably connected to it if you meditate or if you've done any sort of spiritual work. It's that space where just like, things just come to you, or you feel that nudge or that direction, that just that inner knowing. That's why I wore my Knowing Gnome shirt today. It's a total inner knowing, because the Akashic Records, a lot of people think of it as like this cosmic library, just so we can have a visual of it, because libraries store information, makes sense. Yeah. But it's everything. It's known as the void. It's known as the quantum field. You might have heard it referred to as the vortex, all that is, God, the universe. Pick your title, whatever works best for you.
That's quite the umbrella, that's for sure.
Right. I mean, so you can see that this is like some infinite wisdom that's across every faith, every type of spirituality. It's there. So how do we connect into this? There's many, many ways. You slip in and out of it without even knowing a lot of the times, if you're aware and if you're doing some of the spiritual work. And even when you're not. I mean, I've noticed a lot of people, like when they're at moments of really high stress or tragedy, all of a sudden, they just get this sense of calm or peace or clarity that comes over them. And that's this access into this field of all that is. You get exactly the divine information you need in that moment.
And you also access it during dream state. So, anytime you're dreaming, you've entered the Akashic Records and all that good stuff. It isn't like you have to plug into it, because you're already there pretty much. And a lot of people is like, okay, so let me go in there and read XYZ's book or anything like that. That's not the way it works. This is all about you. This is all about the information that you need to heal something, to something to be revealed, something you might be looking for to create in the future. It's more of that than, sitting in a library reading somebody else's book. It's you reading your own, so that you can understand who you are, so that you can also be able to accommodate to the things that might occur in your life, because we're always in this why me state a lot of the times, because we don't understand the things we have contracted to do, to experience, to learn. And going into the Akashic Records gives you that information, and also allows you to change shit up if you need to, I would say, right? If you need to, especially if you need to heal something, because that's the biggest part of it. So
definitely, just going into the records, automatically you'll shift, because your energy has got to plug into that frequency to be able to get the information. And I really like what you said about, it's not just to go access somebody's book, because I've been in spiritual circles where people are like, oh yeah, I went into the Akashic Records and I found out that he, needs this, so I am his goddess. And I'm like, you can't use it for, I don't want to say ill intent or ill purposes, but you can't use it for like personal gain benefit type of thing.
Or to get the lowdown on somebody.
Yeah, for power over somebody else so that you can get what you want. If you actually watch towards the end, we're going to tell you about the one thing that stands in your way of really accessing the Akashic Records and everything else that you want. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. You can, if you're an experienced Akashic Records, there's a lot of readers that you can actually go to. If you don't trust yourself or how to access it, you can go to somebody that's their job, is to access the records for you. You give them permission, you tell them what your direction is, and they will go in and access the information and hand it to you. So people can access other people's books.
Right. But not to cut you off, but also understand that that's your ability to be comfortable in doing something like that. It's not that you're not capable.
Exactly.
We are all capable of accessing the Akashic Records. If you, again, it's all about comfort, because you don't really need a practitioner. You can have them, a practitioner, to help you go, guide you through it. But we all have that ability.
Completely.
Because they are records of us. And who better to access them than us. So,
and this is like, the information gets stronger and stronger as you build stronger trust with yourself. So I actually think that it's awesome to do it yourself, because it builds that trust muscle. I mean, at first when you go in, a lot of times when you go in, you'll just get like, I saw nothing. I saw colors. I saw shapes. Or I saw a red pan. Like, what the heck does that mean? We all know, whoever does the work, that spirit and everything likes to speak in riddles and represent things in a certain way. Hopefully that means something to us. And if it doesn't, it's just like, received, red pan, got it, duly noted, and just move along your day. Because you have no idea, like, when that might come into play at some point. Or maybe it was just the color red and you just applied a pan to the shape. Who knows? It's not to get attached to it, because you're not going to go in and be like, I like Billy, and so I need to know if Billy likes me too. And the Akashic Record person says yes. Like, the librarian will come out and says, yes, Billy likes you. You should go talk to him more. Like, it's not like that.
Right. I mean, like recently, today, as a matter of fact, I was in meditation, and I was deliberately going to connect into the Akashic Records. And the one thing that I noticed was it was very film-like, and I only noticed a baby's hand, like, coming out in this form. No idea what that means. And then it was just like white, fuzzy shapes, and kind of like a film, just going really, really fast.
Like an old-fashioned.
Yeah. And that is all I saw. There was nothing else there. And I didn't dwell on it or, try to figure that out. It just like, okay, thank you. Like you said, you just kind of like do what you need to do and acknowledge that and move on. And I am sure that at some point, because I'm going to stay aware of it, that the information will keep coming, and I'll know the representation of the baby's hand. And
or it
all
was
the
just
shapes.
an energy. I mean, they could have been like,
could have been my spiritual team.
You need purity, you need innocence, and they were just giving you that vibration.
Yeah.
So that vibration looked like a baby's hand to you. Or maybe it was some inner child thing. Like, it could be anything.
Right.
So don't try to frame it. Like, the red pan could be like your grandmother had a red pan that you never even knew, maybe, and the grandmother energy was just coming through to either pass information or connect you into a whole lineage thing that you need to access at the moment. Like, there's no judgment. And that's the thing with the Akashic Records as well, because if you ask them, like, we'll go back to does Billy like me example, the answer would always be yes in the Akashic Records, because it is a place of love and of wholeness. So everything is love, everything loves everything. Like, that's what is. So those type of questions are like, it would get really frustrating or very misleading if that's what you're going up with. So zero judgment there. So you need to go in. The best way to go in is with zero judgment. And oftentimes I find it the most helpful to go in with an intent, because this is a vast, spacious thing. And if you don't have anything like you're specifically working on or wanting to know about in the moment, you can just simply ask, can you please share with me what is for my highest good in this moment? And then they will give you that download information, energy, frequency, whatever it is that you need. So intent is very important. I also believe, oh, so there's several different ways you can, you probably want to know, how the heck do I get in there if you don't currently already plug into it.
I think meditation is the number one.
Meditation is number one. You can do a visualized type of thing where you're picturing, I know a lot of people like to use an elevator. Commonly, a lot of spiritual groups are putting out that the Akashic Records is located in 5D and we're living here in 3D, which I get, we're living here in 3D. And I know 5D exists, but the Akashic Records, to me anyway, is all planes, all dimensions, everywhere and everything, every timeline. So to say it's just 5D, if that's your belief, go you. Mine is very different. So a lot of people I know use an elevator and they're getting on the third floor, since we're in the third dimension, and they will picture an elevator going up to the fifth floor. You can just picture it going up to whatever floor you need to be on, and you're raising that energy until it dings because you're locked in, and you get off the elevator and see what is there for you. You can put your intent out before you go up, like I'm getting in this elevator to go up for this purpose, or you can wait till you get off the elevator and ask. Some people picture themselves actually walking up to this ginormous ethereal looking library and asking for the head librarian, and having some mystical person come and what do you need, and they will help you, and you can have a whole conversation with them. There's guided meditations on YouTube and Insight Timer, lots of different places, so you can access that as well. I like to do intent. Mm-hmm. I have intent that I'm connecting in right now, and whatever's for my highest good if I'm not working on something specific. You can also work, if you want to practice and do something outside of work, and say you've always been interested in Atlantis, or pick any other spiritual thing, or you've always had an affinity to Germany and you've never even been there, and you don't have German ancestors and you don't know why. You can actually go in and tell them that I am interested in Atlantis, or I have a pull to Germany. Can you show me for my highest good, like why I have pulls to these things? And you'll get something off of that.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like, if you want to geek it out, and, it is like the internet. Completely. You want to know about something, you put in what it is that you want to look at, learn about, read about. It's kind of in the same ballpark. So, definitely be deliberate of what you want to know, because like you said earlier, it represents and it has the information of past, present, future, timeline, life, all different lives that you've had. So there is a vast amount of information in there. So you want to be cautious, I guess, for lack of a better word, because you don't know what you might get back. And if you're not ready to hear or see whatever it is that might be in there, you might want to always go in there with intent, so that you're okay, because it's been known that some people it hits them differently, and some past life trauma comes into play, and all these different things. So you want to be mindful.
It's a place of pure light. So if you're starting to feel, like old memories and trauma stuff come up, know that you're in a safe place for that to come up, and feel free to ask the energies there at any moment. This is your chance to be heard and be seen. This is too much for me right now, or this is scaring me. Whatever's coming up for you, verbalize it. Don't just crash yourself back out of there, because this is a beautiful space to actually heal.
Right.
And you're
in the driver's seat.
Have people there. I mean, it's not physical people, but have energies there and guides, or whatever you believe in, God, that's there to support you.
When you're in a place that you feel uncomfortable, if you're, excuse me, when you're in the Akashic Records, just know that you, like Tara was saying, that you're okay, because it is a part of you.
Right. You're accessing yourself.
Right. Exactly. And you're in the most safest place you can possibly be. My thing was, when you have that intention going in, you'll know pretty much exactly what you're going to get, so that you're not flapping in the wind, getting all sorts of information, and you're like, oh shit, where is that coming from? Or when did that happen? Or, you tapped into some timeline that you've never experienced, and it can get a little wild, I would think, but I like to travel like that, a little crazy, in the seat of my pants.
Yeah, like show
But
me
that's
everything.
me.
Exactly. If that's not you, just like I'm coming in with the intent that this is gentle. This is like lo-fi. Like whatever the terminology, like, I'm in a place where right now I want to come in and talk about this specific thing that I'm working on that might be hard for me, and I want to be in a space where I feel held. Like set the intent of like how you want to feel to be able to do the work that you're going to do while you're there. So let's phrase it in a little different way of what the Akashic Records or the Akashic Field is. It is your soul. So I want you to think of your body like your body is your laptop or a phone. Your body is the hardware. And your mind is like the software that's loaded into the hardware that's like operating the computer of your body. And then you have the soul. The soul is like this blueprint of everything that is for your best and highest good. So when you're tapping into the Akashic Records, you're tapping back into your soul self. That's where this is coming from. So, you don't have to visualize it as like out there, but you can if that works for you. But a lot of times it's just dropping inside. And then you start to see things moving. That's how it works for me. Like I'm dropping into meditation and going in. And then all of a sudden I start seeing like just energy moving around me. And it gets real fast sometimes. And I can tell it to slow down at any point. I see different colors. Sometimes I go through grid type of things. And sometimes that's all I see.
Right. And for me, it's that I don't see anything. It just a feeling of like landing, like it's hard to describe, but when like it's kind of like there's a void, and then it's like I feel like my body just kind of like goes down into it or settles into it, and that's when I know I've arrived wherever it is that I'm going, or specifically when I'm entering the Akashic Records, and then I see the white figure fuzzy. And it can be fast at times as well.
I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org. Now back to our podcast.
And that's when I usually say, hey, slow it down, so I can see what's up.
And sometimes it's just a felt thing. Sometimes you just come out and you're like, I feel peaceful. Or sometimes you come out and you can feel a little bit uneasy, like something needs to shift. Like maybe they just gave you some download. You don't know what it is. Or maybe you do know what needs to change in your life. And so you come out of it like, yep, something needs to shift. So that's like your go on whatever it is you're working on that might need to change, that you already kind of knew as your intent going in. So what happens is, when you first come in to this world, you come through a veil so that you kind of forget who your soul self is. And you're just this person having this weird physical experience trying to figure this realm out. So a lot of the code, the connections, the plugins to your soul self get kind of like frayed and weak or just hidden behind the veil because you're here to experience this. And then as traumas come up and things happen, some of that code starts to get kind of corrupt, like when you have a virus in your computer. Some of that code starts to get corrupt and or a code is missing and things malfunction. And that's when kind of like you're starting to get lost, you're getting stuck, you don't feel connected anymore, you don't feel whole, loved enough, like all of those feelings that we get. It's because of that code. So going into the Akashic Records is, again, you plugging back into your soul self, and it's strengthening those cords every single time you do it. So you'll feel more and more you, not the you've created going through this life as the, teacher, mother, father, or whatever labels that we've all applied to our lives and the things we do and the jobs we do. Not that person, the who we truly are inside, our essence, our personality. So think of this as almost like a gentle healing exercise, because you can just go in, and the more you're plugging back into yourself and fixing those codes, you can just say, please, my intent is to reconnect with my soul self. That will gradually build up, again, your trust. It'll build up your soul essence so that you're proceeding from that place more often instead of this physical persona that you've created.
One of the things when I was researching it a little bit more to geek it out, because I love being a geek, it provides insight, guidance for challenges in your life, in your relationships, in your spiritual growth. You can also tap into the understanding of your soul. So that's where all the good stuff is. Like you were saying, when we get here, because we're on the other side of that veil of knowing, we forget that we have everything that we possibly need to get through all the experiences we have contracted to experience. So going into the Akashic Records gives us that little tap in, that reset, if you will, and a reminder that, shit, I got what it takes. I don't need to be fearful. I don't need to question my abilities. I don't need to understand whatever, insert whatever into that. You will just know that you have exactly what you need to get through your life, to change the things that you need to change in your life, and to honor the parts of yourself that are so incredibly missing here and now.
Exactly.
That's what this is all about.
And the perfect movie to really help you to drive this home and visualize this is actually The Wizard of Oz. Because Dorothy was like, didn't like home and wasn't satisfied and wanted change and all this stuff. And, the only thing she could rely on was her little dog there. And then they get swept up in this whole tornado, which is like, you going up into another realm, and then she's dropped into this magical space that she doesn't understand. Akashic Records. And so she's just trying to figure out, how to get home and what she needs to do and how to get home. And then that's her intent. And then she meets all these different characters and has all these amazing, otherworldly, magical experiences on the way through. And then at the end, she realizes she had it within her all along, and goes back home. And then all the characters that were in the Akashic Records helping her were the same faces that were her supporting people in her life all along. So you can live that out here. I mean, that movie, it's a beautiful representation of it. Just shows you the whole thing. And just understand that there's infinite numbers of timelines, and every time you shift your frequency, you shift your timelines forward and back. So this is a beautiful way to heal old traumas by just shifting your frequency in the now. If you go up and what's for my highest good and how can I maintain that soul frequency, and you do that sort of work, I mean, it's just a simple meditation, come back out of it. You've healed stuff in the past, and you've changed things in the future because you're in a different frequency than you were a few minutes before that. This is why commonly you go to like a psychic medium and they'll tell you something and you don't like it. And you're like, that's it, that she's way off. She might not be way off, or he might not be way off. They might be tapping into a different timeline, or they might be tapping into the you that walked in the door. But as she opened up the space and opened up the energy, you might have shifted your energy and now you're in a different space. Or you don't like what you're being told, so your intent shifts and you start doing different things than you would have before you got that message you didn't like. So you just changed your timeline. To prove them wrong, yeah, they were probably right in the moment, and you avoided that from knowing that information. So even when things seem totally off with a psychic, there's something in there and in it And also the messages you get, like, you with the baby. You don't freaking know. That's okay. There's something in there, and you'll get it, or you won't.
I mean, it could be like you said when we were talking about it, that it could be something that has to do with my childhood. Since you all know that I've been doing a lot of work around that. I mean, that could be that. Could be another timeline that has all the answers that I need for here.
Right.
It could be a number of things, but I'm more in the, okay, I got it. I'm just going to let it unfold and see what I get to really hone it in for whatever I need to heal, work on, or continue to work on. And that's the brilliant thing about doing this kind of work. It comes down to you. It's you. We are here to experience life, to experience a lot of different things. So honoring that is the most important. And when we go into the Akashic Records, understand that we are there to plug back in, to really remind ourselves of our capabilities, of our strengths, and all the things that matter to us, so that we can proceed in this really, really crazy adventure that we're all in.
Exactly. And this is a great thing that we remind our clients all the time. If you're grieving somebody that you lost, if you're feeling stuck, like, these are the perfect things to ask. This is my intent. This is where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling when you go up there. Because since it is all that is, and since it's all of your experiences, emotions, intent, past, present, and future, whatever you lost is there. And if you feel stuck here, you're not stuck there, because everything up there is perfect flow, perfect divine everything, white light, bright, plugged in awesomeness. So whatever you feel here that's not feeling aligned, it's feeling heavy, you don't like it, go up there with, I say up there, it's not an up for me, but
Go within,
go to the records and ask for support based on whatever you're dealing with. I mean, because it's one of the simplest ways to do the work, because you're not like snot nose crying at your therapist's office. You're not going through like, shadow work can be very difficult and all these things. This is like you said, an easy plug-in. Right. And it will shift you, I promise. And you can go up as many times as you want.
It will shift you. It will heal you. It will enlighten you. It will reset you. It will do all the things that are required for you to move forward here and now. And that's the part that is so exciting to be able to bring to you guys, because a lot of people don't understand what the Akashic Records are about, or they're afraid of it or anything like that. And when it comes down to it, if you're saying you're afraid of it, you're saying you're afraid of yourself. And
if you are, ask for assistance with that.
For sure. But don't stop yourself from doing something or discovering something about yourself that can catapult you in life, because that's what we're here for. We're here to experience life, not to just watch it go by. Exactly. I mean, you certainly can do that if that's your preference, but
All right.
I don't recommend it.
No, not at all. All right, so now let's get to the number one thing that's holding you back here from plugging in there, all of it. It is the ego. The ego is what keeps you waiting and wanting. The ego wants you to wait to go into the Akashic Records, because the ego doesn't want to be irrelevant. The ego doesn't want to be phased out. You get plugged into your soul self, the ego can't be like running your life. Your soul self gets back into the driver's seat, and that's threatening to the ego, for lack of a better word. So the ego wants you wanting something, because wanting keeps you in a lack vibration. I want love, I want abundance, and it's all this stuff that you don't have. So you're saying that you don't have abundance, you don't have love, and if you are love and you feel abundance and you can just feel it in your field, then you are those things, and then you'll start attracting those things, and they can come in. But the ego wants to keep you stagnant where you are, because it remains relevant. it's very easy to protect you because it already knows all the factors, and it stifles your change.
If you want a dynamite way of really visualizing what that's like, what's that movie that we saw that's all about the ego, The Warrior or something?
The Peaceful Warrior?
The Peaceful Warrior.
That's a great movie.
Watch
or book.
that movie, and you will get a visual of how the ego can work within us. When I saw her, I was just like, oh shit, that makes a lot of sense, and it really got a good grasp on how the ego works within us. So
definitely
go check it out. What was it again? The Peaceful Warrior?
The Peaceful Warrior. And then there's that book, I can't think of the name right now. The Alchemist. The Alchemist. I'm thinking of Russ's new album, Santiago, that's based on the character from The Alchemist. I'm pretty sure it's The Alchemist. We will double check. We'll put a picture of it so you can see it. It is a phenomenal book that walks you through all of this in a beautiful story, like very quick, easy. It'll suck you in, and it'll give you a lot of aha moments, and keep reading it. And if you
so for the readers, you get that. For the ones that are more visual like me,
watch the movie. If you're more music, auditory, listen to Russ's Santiago Santiago album. It's like light rap, soft rap. It's rap, but it's kind of
good.
It's kind of has some ballady type of pop into it.
It's rap with message.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because he goes deep.
He goes deep, and he walks you through the whole thing, where he starts off with the, what if I'm not perfect? What if I'm not this? Who am I if I'm not that? Into his feelings of anxiety, rough upbringing, like all this. And then when he finally found the book, and how it started to shift him and stepping into his power and into who he is. Right. The whole album is this whole...
I think the whole album is him exercising his vulnerability.
Absolutely.
And really finding healing in it.
The raw honesty is just brilliant. I mean, you could check out, Jay Shetty has a podcast where he interviewed Russ, and that was it was deep and beautiful. And so I did.
Yeah, so if you guys wonder where we get our inspiration from, or
all sorts of people,
and because we listen and we pay attention, and it's good to know that we're not the only ones that are going through the same shit.
Exactly.
Because sometimes in doing this kind of work, you can feel lonely. You can feel lonely a lot. So know that there are people out there doing the same shit.
So the more you plug into the Akashic Records, the more that you're in that flow, you have access to that information. That inner knowing starts taking center stage instead of the logic and trying to control everything. Yeah. It's a beautiful place of ease and peace and love and absolute freedom.
Yeah, when you walk in this life knowing your purpose, everything else is a fucking breeze.
Exactly. So tap into the Akashic Records. Comment below. Let us know, like, if you've tapped in before, what it felt like to you. Share some of your experiences. We'd love to hear that. And if you found value in this, please subscribe to the channel so that you're the first to get notified when new stuff comes out. It helps us grow, and it helps us be able to put more stuff like this out.
All right. Be kind.
Peace.